Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking something that is deeply personal and incredibly important for countless families out there, and that is safely and confidently bringing a household professional into your home. You know, whether you're looking for a Kasambahay, a caregiver, a yaya, or a family driver, the process is about so much more than just filling a job vacancy. It's really about establishing a true standard of trust. So our goal today is to walk you through the source material on this standard and help you make decisions that protect both your family and the professionals you hire. But before we even talk about laws or agencies or contracts, we have to acknowledge the very real, very visceral anxiety that families feel. Opening your front door to someone new means opening up your private sanctuary. You're constantly asking yourself, who am I letting into my home, around my children, my elderly parent, and my private life? It's a moment of intense emotional vulnerability, right? You aren't just hiring a skill set. You are literally inviting a stranger into your most intimate spaces. To really answer that anxiety, we need to take a look at the accountability gap. Section 1, the accountability gap. Who is answerable if something goes wrong? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the clear contrast in risk. You basically have two distinct paths, a direct hire versus using a licensed agency. It is super tempting to just hire directly through social media to save a few bucks on upfront costs, but often families do this without realizing the massive gamble they're taking. With a direct hire, there's no agency-backed screening, there's absolutely no replacement protection if the worker suddenly leaves, and fundamentally, your family bears all the risk. On the flip side, a licensed agency provides a structural safety net. You get professional screening, legal compliance, and a solid replacement guarantee. And most importantly, a licensed agency is directly accountable to the Department of Labor and Employment. Which brings us to this absolutely essential takeaway. The core question is not which is cheaper, but who is accountable if something goes wrong. Choosing that cheaper direct hire path often means sacrificing professional support exactly when you need it the most. Because if a placement fails, or worse, if a safety issue actually arises, you are entirely on your own. True peace of mind comes from knowing someone is professionally standing behind the placement. So how do agencies actually build that peace of mind? Section 2. What real screening takes. Moving beyond a single piece of paper. We've all seen the basic barangay or local police clearance, right? But here is the reality check from the source material. A single local clearance is simply not enough. Why? Well, because people move. A person could have a perfectly clean record in one city, while a serious criminal record sits entirely unnoticed in another region. Plus, temperaments and hidden histories just don't show up on basic paper clearances. If trust is everything in your home, you need a screening process that looks much, much deeper. Comprehensive layered screening requires what's often called a security double lock system. It's basically a three-step process. Step 1 is a national dual audit, which checks PNP and PCS records across all 18 regions of the Philippines alongside biometric NBI verification. Step 2 is a clinical psychological assessment. And Step 3 is a thorough medical clearance. This layered approach is specifically designed to catch those red flags that a simple document check would easily miss. Let's actually pause on Step 2 for a moment, because this is vital. Clinical psychological screening involves rigorous, hospital-based assessments, like the ones conducted at facilities such as Manila Doctors Hospital. They use professional tools to identify deep-seated fitness and temperament issues. When you're hiring for roles that involve immense trust, like a yaya caring for your infant or a caregiver supporting a vulnerable parent, knowing a person's psychological temperament is absolutely non-negotiable. You have to know they have the emotional stability for the job. Section 3, protection on both sides. Safe for the family, dignified for the worker. Okay, let's dive into this next concept. This is truly the heart of this entire explainer. It's incredibly easy to think of employer protection and worker protection as two competing ideas, but the sources make it crystal clear. They are one and the same. A household professional who is properly screened, paid fairly, and treated with dignity actually creates a much safer and more stable placement for your family. When a worker feels secure and respected, they stay longer and they perform better. Family protection and worker protection aren't separate. They reinforce each other perfectly. And the law completely recognizes this balance. Frameworks like the Batas Kasambahay and the newly enacted Caregivers Welfare Act serve as tools to ensure mutual fairness. Just look at how perfectly balanced this is. The family is entitled to a medically and psychologically cleared worker, honest representation, and a replacement guarantee. In return, the worker is entitled to a written contract, their mandatory benefits like SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig, humane treatment, and lawful wages. Protection that runs in only one direction just isn't protection at all.
Speaking of family entitlements, a serious agency won't leave you stranded if things just don't work out. During the first 30 days, if the placement isn't a fit, a free replacement is provided. From days 31 to 180, a replacement is available for a really modest rescreening fee, which simply covers the hard costs of the national background checks and hospital screenings for the new candidate. Usually you're allowed up to 3 replacements within this period. This ensures you have the time to find the perfect fit without paying a full placement fee all over again. So let's translate all of this into action.
Section 4, Practical Rules to Remember, Navigating the Hiring Process Safely.
So the crucial point is that you, as the thoughtful family, have a checklist to protect yourself. Never skip these 5 golden rules. First, verify the ADOL license of the agency. Second, always interview the candidate before paying any fees. Third, get the service agreement and the employment contract in writing. Fourth, explicitly understand the replacement protection window we just looked at. And finally, do not choose based only on price. A price that is suspiciously below market usually means corners are being cut, either on that vital background screening or on the workers' fair pay.
Let's look a little closer at that first rule, verifying the license. As an example from the source material, the number M-24-04-034 is the verified DOL private employment agency license for MaidProvider.ph. Asking for and checking this specific type of license number is the ultimate proof of an agency's legitimacy. It is literally your first line of defense against unsafe practices.
And I want to highlight the second rule again because, honestly, it is a major red flag if ignored. Never pay in full before meeting the worker. A legitimate premium agency will empower you to be patient with your choice. Settlement of the placement fee must follow your decision to hire, not the mere introduction of a candidate. You have every right to take a breath, do the interview, ask your questions, and ensure the fit is exactly right before you hand over a single peso.
Bringing someone into your home doesn't have to be a leap of faith into the dark. By insisting on deep screening and mutual respect, you create an environment that is dignified for the professional and safe for your family. So, before you make your next hire, ask yourself, are you just filling a vacancy, or are you building a standard of trust that ensures protection on both sides of the door?